Welcome to another edition of our tutorial. So today we'll be making this trending little princess head fascinator. So these are the things you will be needing for this tutorial. First, you will need an Alice hairband, a matching thread, a paper tape, gum, a lining, the major fabric you will be using, and also we'll also be needing the wording, the hardest wording. Okay, so let's start with, you get your wording. For this design, we'll be making use of 12 inches. Just place your tape rule on it like this. Okay, so I'll be measuring 11 and a half. So our diameter line will be 5 1/4. All right, so I'll get my 11 and a half. So I mean 5 3/4. That will be our diameter line. Okay, so this is 5 3/4. So this is my center. This 5 3/4. So I'll measure 5 3/4. And at the same time, just get your center. Once you get your center, okay, then you measure. I'll measure um two two and a half 2 3/4. This is 2 3/4, then 5 3/4. So that's what we are measuring. This is our center. I mark out 2 3/4, then 5 3/4. And that is how I'll measure it all through. 2 3/4 and then 5 3/4. Just take your time to measure accurately. 2 3/4, 5 3/4. Basically, what we are doing is we are marking um a big cycle and a small cycle at the same time. Okay, so okay, so this is the cycle. You can see this is what we are having. So I cut this place through for me to be able to cut out our bigger circle. Okay, so this is what we are having now. So at this point, you put this one aside, then you mark out, you divide this smaller circle into four. Divide it into four, like this. Okay, so after dividing it, you're going to be doing a bit of mathematics. Just mark out 1.5 from the tip, go around and mark 1.5, 1.5, then 1.5. Okay, 1.5 here too. Now this is our 1.5. At this 1.5, you come to this side and you just, like 1/4 inch, just remove very tiny bits from each side. Tiny bits, like 1/4 inch. The number, the figure you remove here, the measurement you remove here will determine how curved it will be. Okay, so that is why I'm just removing a bit, just very little. I mean very little. Okay, now so Once you have marked it out, all right, make sure you get a cycle. The fabric you'll be using, the exact fabric, just get a cycle. It doesn't have to be big as this. At least you just need like the exact size of this circle, the exact size. Okay, all right. So at this point, you can now trim out the little you mark out, and you stop where you mark. Okay, so just like I'm doing now. We are doing this because we want to make the circle to be curved, so start giving us our cap shape. Okay, so at this point, you can now decide to use your masking tape. But for me, I'll be stitching it with a zigzag stitch. But in the case where you don't have a machine, you can just max it like this. Just make sure you are setting it right. All right. So by the time you are done masking it like this, you have a curve shape. So I will be stitching this now. Let me stitch it and I'll show you. Okay, so I used a zigzag stitch to join it together. You can see I just extended it to the other end. Okay, so we have a curve at this time. So what we will be doing now is for us to attach our gum. Is to remember I told you you get your fabric. Okay, so just put your gum all around it. Pardon me, I need to quickly open up this thing. I think it's dry. That's why it's not coming out. Okay, so add your gum on every part. Okay, then you put your fabric on it and just use your hand to mold it out. So you have to wait for some minutes for you to be sure it is dry before you proceed. Okay, just make sure it is properly smoothed out. Anywhere you see that it's not stable, it's not gumming, just add more gum to make it stable. So I'm making two. I'll just leave this to dry before I trim it out. This is it. It's the same way you cover up the top. It's also the same way you cover up the down part. Just put your gum, place it on it, and use your hand to press it. So I'm able to do the two. This is it. Remember I told you I'm doing two. Okay, so now once you are able to do, just drop this. Then we'll move to the bigger cycle. Now, to work with the bigger cycle, we need to measure. We need to measure. I just want to indicate where I'm starting my measurement from. Okay, so you measure the tip of the circle to be very, to know what you have there. So this 16 inches. 16 inches. Okay, so I'll be measuring 17 inches. So I'll measure 17. Now I added 1 more inch for the sewing allowance. So this is how you'll be placing your tape rule to move around. So this is our 17 inches here. So I'll cut it. So which means we'll be having like this. Okay. So this is what we'll be having. 17 inches. But in the case where you'll be using, I added 1 inch allowance because of the because if in case you want to sew it with a straight sewing machine, but if you'll be using a zigzag, if you'll be using a zigzag, just measure the exact 16 inches. All right. So I'll be using a zigzag. I'll leave it at the exact 16 inches. So I'll cut off the remaining 1 inch. Okay. So this is what we'll be having now. Now I'm working with pieces fabric, so I'll find a way to cover it up. I'll find a way to cover it up with the fabric using my gum. Okay. So I just put my gum on it, everywhere. Place it on it till I'm able to cover it up. This is the inside. I find a way to cover up the inside. I told you I'm working with pieces of fabric. Okay, so when it's not enough, I joined another one here and I folded it in to lap on top of it. So I'm doing the second side as well. Put your gum on the add wadding, then you place your fabric on it like this. So I just wanted to show you, right? So you can see I joined two fabric here, and this is the meeting point. Okay, so when you want to finish it up, just fold it like this. So if you are not making use of sewing machine, like I said, because I prefer using sewing machine because it makes it last longer, even if it is dipped in water. If you work with gum all through, it doesn't last that much. Okay, so I will be stitching here, but if you will not be stitching with a sewing machine, just put your gum. You can use candle gum or hoo gum. Place it here and make sure it is sitting properly. It is properly sealed. But for me, I'll be stitching it here. And the same thing on this side, I'll fold this in as well. I'll stitch it here. So let me show you that when I'm done stitching it, I will now trim the edges. So I have top stitched it. Look at it here. So I top stitch it. All right. So here there is the inside and this is the outside. If you notice, the outside is longer than the inside. Okay, so make sure you are leaving like 2 inches allowance for the outside so that you will be folding it in like this. If you are making use of gum, this is how you will be folding it. Put your gum and you continue to press it down and gum it down. So this will be the way you do yours. Okay, but if you are working with the sewing machine, just fold. You can double fold like this. Then I'll be stitching it round. Okay, so let's do this. Here is it. This is the inside and this is the outside. I stitch it round. Okay, so our next step is to join this with it. So I'll be joining it inside. Okay, so I'll join it this way. We'll join this with it and we'll stitch round. Okay, so when we are done, I wanted to use this lining to cover up the inside before, but I'll be using bias to cover up my stitch. Okay, so I have stitched it. I've stitched it. Okay, so we have SS and I decided to turn the SS into a style. So it is pleated here and it's going to give it a style. So this is how it's going to be at the end of the day. Here we'll be shooting up while the other parts will be curving like this. We are not through yet, but I'll be showing us what we have, our result is. Okay, so but for now, when you are done stitching, you are going to be using this. I'm using this ribbon because I'm working with silver. I have to work with silver ribbon. Okay, so I'll be using the silver to tape it round. So this is how I'm going to tape it, like this. So I'm going to use it to tape it all round, all round. So I'll be using a needle and a thread to tape it all round. So I'll be stitching it like this, all round. Okay, so by the time you've done it, this is what you'll be having. This is what it will be looking like. Okay, so this is it. So from here, we'll be moving to the bow on top of it. Okay, we are making the bow on top of it. Rectangular shape like this. This is a 8.5, 8.5 by 8.5 by 6.5. Okay, so this is how I will be doing it. I'll go and stitch this at the side here. Okay, this is it. I folded it into two. I stitch about 1.5 inch here, 1.5 inch here. I'll leave this place opening like this, open like this. Okay, so I'll move it to the center. This stitch, I'll make sure it comes to the center. Then I close here and I close here too, because I will be inserting crinoline through this hole here. That's why it has to be at the center. Okay, so I'll be sealing this place and I will be stitching this place too as well. See, you can see the stitches at the middle here. Okay, so I'll turn it inside out. Just turn it inside out perfectly. Okay, so now you can see the opening. So this is our crinoline. We need to safeguard it. Look at this end. You can, okay, or better still, let's do it one at a time. Okay, so that we will be preventing it from inconveniencing the client. Okay, so you use it to cover the mouth, the tip I mean. Okay, so you go ahead and cover it properly. Cover it properly. So we have secured it. Okay, we've secured it. Okay, then I'll still use the paper tape to hold it down. You can see I folded it into two and I'll be holding it down just like this. Okay, Sorry. You need to secure it properly. Okay, so I'll put it inside like a pocket, and you make sure it sits in it very well. Okay, now look at the way it is now. At this point, you just need to fold it in four or two like this, or better still, I can decide to make use of my thread. Okay, just fold it like 2 or 3 times, then I wrap it around it. Okay, make sure you are tying it at the center. I notice it's not at the center, so I loosen it back. Okay, so we are good to go like this. We are good to go like this. Okay, so at this point, I can decide to make use of the ribbon. So I'll use the ribbon here. Let's double it. I'll use it to cover in between here. Okay. Make sure where we opened is at the back. All right. So at this spot, I'll seal it. I will stitch it with a thread and a needle. So if you are here to subscribe, please do. Please do. There are lots of videos that will be uploaded so that you won't miss out on any of it. Please do try to subscribe and give us a thumb up. If you know you have learned something new, please do well to help us to subscribe. All right. So at this point, here is it. So whatever position you like to fix it, all right. So let's fix it at the side here. Okay, because this is the back. So let's fix it at the side here. Okay. So we'll pass it, stitch it with it. Make sure it is sitting well. Okay. So you stitch. Sorry, I don't know, I'm off the camera. So you stitch and stitch properly. Take your time to make sure it is sitting pretty well. Okay, so I use a gum to secure it. All right, so I'll be using thread and needle to stitch it now. Okay, so just find a way to secure it with thread and needle, and that will be all. So you can see what I just did. At this point, you can design it any way you want, any way you want it. But what I did is I used these um trimmings to cover up the stitch and give it a kind of a design. Okay, so we'll be testing it on our on the mannequin now. So this is our end result. You can see how lovely and beautiful it is standing. Okay, so this is so beautiful. If you are yet to subscribe, please do subscribe and remember to give us a thumb up. It encourages us to do more. Okay, so this is so nice. This is so nice. All right, when you are placing yours, remember to put it at the side of the Alice hairband. You can see it's not at the center. I shifted it to the side. All right, so please do give us a thumb up and then subscribe for more tutorial like this so you won't miss out of our lovely and educative tutorial. Okay, I love you.